Welcome to Breathe, Love, Parent, the Shine On podcast. I'm your host, Rach, yoga teacher, natural mama, and passionate guide in all things nervous system and connection. This is your space for honest conversations, emotional wellbeing tools, and mindful parenting insights. Whether you're in the thick of meltdowns or seeking a moment of calm, you belong here. Let's take a breath together and begin. Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome back to Breathe, Love, Parent, the Shine On podcast. I'm your host, Rach, and today I'm talking to you from Ngunnawal country. And today's episode, I want to share the real origin story behind the Family Gratitude Journal and why it's built around 10 minutes a day. Not an hour, not a perfectly structured routine, not a color-coded family meeting, just 10 minutes. 5 in the morning and 5 before bed. Before I get into any of that, I want to pause on something important. When we say gratitude, what do we actually mean? Because gratitude has become one of those words that can feel performative or forced or overly positive. And this journal, gratitude isn't about pretending everything is good. It isn't about ignoring hard feelings. It isn't about listing 3 things you're grateful for and then moving on. And it's definitely not another chore, like another thing you feel like you have to do. Gratitude, the way I define it in this book, is attention. It is a practice of noticing. That's why the journal is structured the way it is. So the daily write or draw pages aren't there to produce beautiful reflections. They're there to give children and parents a moment to pause and ask, what did I notice today? The kids' mood pages with the faces are just as important as the gratitude prompts, because gratitude without emotional awareness isn't regulation, it's bypassing. Sometimes the most honest entry might be, today was hard. And then we gently ask, was there anything small that helped? And that's gratitude. The 52 weekly challenges are there to widen our lens. So one week we might focus on noticing helpers, another might invite us to appreciate nature, another might be about kindness inside the home. It's training the nervous system to look for steadiness, not perfection. The playful sections, such as the gratitude bingo, the gratitude jar, the recipe of appreciation, memory lane, they all exist because gratitude isn't meant to be heavy. It's relational, it's shared, it's something you build together. And then there are the monthly reflections and end of year review. Those pages exist because gratitude is cumulative. When you look back, you realize, there was more goodness than our stressed brains allowed us to realize in the moment. And finally, the 31 family affirmations at the back of the book aren't about repeating something you don't believe. They're about shaping the language of your home. The words you use repeatedly become the emotional climate your children grow up in. So when I say 10 minutes matters more than perfection, this is what I mean. Gratitude isn't a mood, it's a muscle. And muscles don't grow from intensity, they grow from repetition. So 10 minutes a day gives you repetition, not polished reflection, not profound insight, just steady noticing. And over time, steady noticing changes what feels normal inside your home. And that is what this journal was built for. So the journal wasn't created because I thought families needed more work, or they needed another workbook, or needed more work. It came from noticing something in my own home and with the families that I was working with. We don't struggle because we don't care. We struggle because we're tired. And we start with these beautiful intentions that we want to be present. We want to respond calmly. We want to build connection. But by the end of the day, we're depleted. And we're depleted. Perfection becomes the enemy, or avoidance becomes the enemy. So what I kept seeing, and myself included, was this pattern. We would try to implement big changes, long gratitude rituals, structured mindfulness routines, weekly resets, and when we couldn't sustain them, we would just quietly stop. Not because they didn't work, but because they asked too much. And that's when I started to ask a different question. What is the smallest meaningful rhythm that actually shifts the tone of a home? The answer wasn't more structure. It was actually less. It was consistency over intensity. So 10 minutes a day is short enough that it doesn't feel overwhelming, but it's long enough to create a pause. And the pause is where everything changes. So 5 minutes in the morning isn't about forced positivity. It's about orienting. So noticing something small, naming something good, setting a tone that says, we're in this together. And 5 minutes before bed isn't about perfect reflection. It's about closure. It's about saying, today mattered. You mattered, even if it was messy. And the nervous system doesn't need grand gestures. It needs repetition. It needs predictability. It needs moments of safety that happen often enough to become familiar. So that's what 10 minutes asks for: control, 10 minutes asks for presence. And remembering you can block it into 5 and 5. So it's only 5 minutes and 5 minutes. And presence is sustainable. So when I was creating the Family Gratitude Journal, I intentionally resisted the urge to make it bigger. And I have so many more ideas. Maybe it's another book. But I could have added more prompts. I could have added more pages. I could have added more structured systems. And I definitely could have added more of the pages to support some of the ideas at the start of the journal. But that would have completely undermined the entire philosophy. So this journal isn't about doing it right. There's no right or wrong way. It's about doing it gently. And in fact, it's just about doing it. Whatever that looks like for you and your family. So some days you'll write, some days you'll draw, some days you'll just talk, and some days you'll skip it. And, that's totally fine. But over weeks and months, those small moments accumulate. Connection builds in layers, not leaps. And that's really the authority behind the book. Not expertise in theory, but lived observation. Families don't need more pressure. We've got enough going on. We need rhythms that respect real life. 10 minutes is small enough to begin, small enough to repeat, and small enough to return to when you fall out of routine. And that return, not perfection, is what changes a home. So if you're listening and thinking, I don't have time, that's exactly why 10 minutes, because if we wait until life slows down, we'll wait forever. So thank you for being here, and thank you for caring about the kind of home you're building, not through grand transformations, but through small, steady moments. That's where the real work lives. Now, for getting this far in the episode, and hey, it's my first face talking one, I want to extend a special thank you by offering you free shipping on the Family Gratitude Journal from when you purchase on my website, and you need to use the code podcast. So visit www.shineom.com.au/shop to invest in your family wellbeing today and use the code podcast for free shipping, Australia-wide. And in the spirit of gratitude, I'm so thankful for you for sharing your time and energy listening today. It truly means the world to me. And if this episode made you think of someone, please share it with them and let's spread the love. So until next time, notice the beauty and the good around you and express gratitude. Bye. Thank you for joining me on Breathe, Laugh, Parent. If this episode brought you a moment of calm or connection, please share it with a fellow mama. Subscribe on your favourite platform or visit shineom.com.au/podcast for more. Until next time, keep breathing, laughing, and parenting with heart. The information shared on Breathe, Laugh, Parent, the Shine On podcast is for general educational and inspirational purposes only. It is not medical, therapeutic, or professional advice and should not be relied on as such. Always consult a qualified health or parenting professional for support tailored to your individual needs. Shine On and its guests disclaim any liability for decisions made based on this content.